All right, everybody, welcome to NorCal Sports Network. And this is the same hat that Brock Purdy's dad wears. Chat loves it when Marty Lurie comes on.
Anytime you lose a game this time of year, when you can't go backwards, it's a problem.
Wow. What a series we just witnessed in the American League as the Toronto Blue Jays come from 2 back and then down 3-2 in the series to win it at home in 7, and they had to come back from a 3-1 deficit with a big 3-run shot in the 7th by George Springer. We'll talk about it. The Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers in your 25 World Series opening up Friday night. Let us get right to it, but first let us thank our sponsor of the show, Chapman Law Group. Chapman Law Group, located in Marin, licensed in all of California. Chapman Law Group, give them a call for all your legal needs, especially if you got a personal injury situation. Chapman Law Group, they can help you get top dollar at 415-613-9483. Chapman Law Group, make sure you give them a call. David Chapman is the principal there at Chapman Law Group, and he will take care of you. All right, guys. What a game, man. It looked like Seattle had it. And Brian Wu comes in, does a good job in the 6th, but in the 7th gives up a walk and then a hit. And then they bring, they sacrifice, bunt, and then bring in the reliever, and he grooves one to George Springer. Excuse me. And George said, "See you later." Wow. I was not expecting that, but that was a little reminiscent, not quite as dramatic as Joe Carter's game-winning homer in the 93 World Series. I think it was 92 or 93. Get my years straight. But, man, congratulations. Blue Jays did it. You know, I thought originally when the playoffs started, you know, I said Dodgers and Blue Jays before the playoffs even started, but somehow I went with the Phillies against the Dodgers, thinking they would still knock them off somehow. And then I thought Seattle would take it to them once they got up 2-0 and had 3 games at home. I thought their pitching would not let them down, but that Toronto lineup is something else. I mean, 1 through 9, they just make contact. Look how many times that Seattle struck out, and then Hoffman comes in the 9th inning. What in the world was Julio Rodriguez thinking when you got, you know, the big dumper on deck? You want to get him to the plate no matter what it takes. And Rodriguez swings at a 2-0 pitch that's outside, chases. You're up 2-0. You're too anxious. Wait for your pitch. You're trying to be the hero. And you become, you know, you hit one out earlier in the game. And then the 3-2 pitch, just a complete, he just folded under the pressure. I would have loved to have seen Raleigh come up. It's been a magical season for Cal Raleigh, and you think, would he have the opportunity to put the Mariners into the World Series with a 2-run shot in the top of the 9th and make them go up 5-4? But, yeah, Vitello watch starts now. It could be as early as tomorrow, guys. I think if it happens, it's definitely before Friday. It's not going to be a World Series type of an announcement. This deal's either in the books, it's a wrap with Tony Vitello, or it is going to drag on through the week. If it doesn't get announced tomorrow or Wednesday, I would get a little nervous thinking that Vitello may be having second thoughts on giving up a great job in the SEC where he's making $3 million a year. It's a college game. It's awesome. Hold on here. I got an order I've got coming to my door here. I got to change the substitute item. Hold on. What are we doing here? All right. Replace with, hold on one sec. We'll just do that. All right. Sorry. I had an order coming to the house and got to get that done. All right. So, but Seattle, as Beto says, still a great run, regardless of the choke job. Great postseason. Yeah. I mean, how tough is that on the city of Seattle that you've got never been to a World Series, right? The only franchise in Major League Baseball that's never even made an appearance, and they still have to wait again. So what do we got here? I was reading their NIL money is being placed somewhere else. Who knows what's going on? You know, we'll get a little bit more into the Vitello thing. I will do a little wrap on this post game here for and we'll touch on the World Series. Look, this was a classic game and a Game 7 that looked like Seattle, right? I mean, you had the Rodriguez solo homer, and then you had the Cal Raleigh solo homer, and you're thinking, man, this is going to be Seattle, you know, and then the big 3-run homer, the seventh inning blast. And yeah, I see some comments here that guys think the Blue Jays have a better shot against the Dodgers and the Mariners. Probably so. The Dodgers would just probably strike out. I mean, look at how many times the Blue Jays strike out. I mean, the Mariners strike out. They would be striking out all day long against Snell and Yamamoto and Ohtani and Glasnow. It might be a sweep or a gentleman's sweep at the best for the Mariners because they weren't going to hit LA, right? That's probably you can look at this. Now we'll see how this pitching handles a great offense. So it should be very, very interesting. Hold on here. Let me get something going here with my phone. I got everything going. Oh, I'm got myself in the background there. All right. So just had to kill that there. So yeah, I just think this is going to be an interesting World Series in that you're going to have the great pitching along with the Dodgers' great hitting against what I would say is average pitching for the Blue Jays against a really, really good offense for the Blue Jays. We'll see. This should be fun. Now the Blue Jays have the home field advantage here in this because they had I think they won 94 this year and the Dodgers won 93. So the Dodgers got to fly to Toronto, probably head up there. My guess is they'll head up there Wednesday, spend Wednesday night, Thursday night in Canada and in Toronto, and then be ready to go for games 1 and 2 Friday and Saturday. I wouldn't think they would fly on Thursday and get there Thursday night. Maybe they might, but I would think you'd want to get a little bit accustomed to the time change and get a feel for playing on the blue, practicing. I'm sure they could go on there Thursday and have some BP Thursday on the field. So we'll see. It should be fun though, guys. Another World Series. And, it's what can you say? I mean, this is for the marbles, and I don't know. I do think the Dodgers have a distinctive advantage in this series because of their pitching, their hitting. They've been there. But I don't know. Do you think Bo Bichette is going to be ready to come back? Is he going to come back and play? Oliver Garrett says, I'm stressed out right now. I'm nervous, bro, as a Dodger fan. Daniel Gomez says, you should be. Jays can hit. Well, yeah. I mean, that's one thing. When you put the bat on the ball, Dodgers may not have seen this. Now, I know they played this year, the Jays, because everybody plays everybody. Who cares what they did during the regular season? We saw with the Brewers. I'm not even going to look it up. Doesn't matter. Brewers beat the Dodgers 6 straight and couldn't even get one game in the NLCS. So not going to be looking at that. So I've got to believe that the Dodgers are going to be prohibitive favorites still. And I like the Dodgers in the series. I'll be rooting for the Jays. You know, it's the only time I'd be rooting for a team that is not in America. You know, I'll be rooting for the Jays because they're playing the Dodgers, right? And we're Giants fans, so we don't want to see the Dodgers win, but that's what it appears will be the case. We'll see. But Aaron says Dodgers will be prepared for the Blue Jays. After all, they played the Giants this season. Yeah, Giants are great preparation for the Dodgers. Hey, great. Whoops. Spilling water here. Hold on. I got to spill my water because I'm getting text. I got an order being delivered to the house and they're substituting some items. So I got to keep my phone near me. Oop, my battery's going dead too. Hold on. I don't even think this charger's working anymore. All righty. Let me plug in, see if I can get a little that. I don't know what happened to this. All right. Well, guys, it should be a very entertaining World Series. Tonight's Monday, right? So the Blue Jays are going to have 3 full days of rest, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They'll be able to set up their rotation. They'll be going with Gausman. Gausman pitched tonight. What? How much innings did Gausman pitch? Was it 1 or 2? I saw Gausman in the game there. I can't even remember. Let me look here. Box score. Come on, give me the box score, not the. I don't. There we go. Hold on here. I don't have any helpers tonight, any co-hosts. So yeah, Gausman only went 1 inning Monday night. He still got 3. Yeah, Gausman will go game 1. Savage pitched yesterday? He'll be able to go game 2. You got Scherzer that may be able to go in this. We'll see where it goes. So anyway, it was heck of a series, and we'll hold on one sec. All right. Anyway, Giants manager situation, Tony Vitello. It looks like he may be the guy. I've got a lot of different thoughts on that whole thing with Vitello. I've talked to a lot of people that are in the media that really dislike the move. They think it's a very desperate sign, and they don't like the move at all. They think it's just a horrible idea, bringing in someone with no big league experience, either playing, coaching, anything whatsoever. And then I've heard others that really like it. So I'm not You know, I think it's a move the Giants kind of almost have to make based in the circumstances. We'll see. I think I put a tweet out a little while ago. I think the move is going to cost the Giants a lot of money. I think it's going to have to be a 4 to 5 year deal. Vitello, remember, is signed for $3 million a year, and he's signed through 29. So he's still got 26, 7, 8, 9, 4 more seasons to go. That's 12 million plus the guy's like a king in Knoxville area. He's got endorsements. Everybody loves him. Tennessee is going to come back at him probably with quite a bit of maybe a bigger offer to see if they can keep him. So I think Buster and the Giants are going to have to offer him, I'm thinking $5 million a year is minimum, but it's probably going to have to be closer to 7 years because I think I could see Tennessee upping their offer to closer to $5 million a year. And then you would have to make it worth his while. He's not going to leave, I don't think, to be matched. And we welcome in Dallas to the show. There he is.
Howdy.
Hey, Dallas. We're just talking a little bit about Tony Vitello. We were covering the Toronto game. What were your thoughts before we go back on Vitello? What's your thoughts on this game tonight and the World Series?
Well, the World Series is what we thought it would be when the playoffs started. I think
right.
It was
two best
going to be
records.
the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, and that's how it ended up.
Well, not the two best records, Milwaukee, but two best teams. You know what I'm getting at.
Right. I thought, I think that's what everyone kind of predicted. If it went by the numbers, by the way you thought it would go, and then that's how it ended up. Now, how we got here, it was a little more exciting than just throwing them both in there. They both didn't have to. The Blue Jays had to work to get to where they are, and the Dodgers kind of just coasted their way in. No one really put up much of a fight against them. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, you got to play the games. So you never know. A team can get hot. Pitchers can have dominant performances and shut down a lineup. But it's a long shot, I have to admit. It's not looking good for the rest of baseball. The Dodgers look pretty dominant, and I think the Dark Empire is going to take home another World Series trophy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Oh, we even have some Bay Area Bob references in our chat. Vitello confirmed according to Bay Area Bob. All right, and then we've got this one. Bay Area Bob is all BS. Justin Kerwin. And then we've got another one. Rob C. Bay Area Bob's an idiot. Trust nothing he says. Okay. So we've got one positive and one and two negatives for Bay Area Bob. Bay Area Bob. We don't even know who Bay Area Bob is. It's a pseudo name, and not even sure who the guy is.
Just based on what everybody has reported, if you go out and say, "Oh, we're announcing it," he's been confirmed. You got at this point at least a 75% chance of being right. So you're not really exactly going out on a limb. It looks like that's the way the wind is blowing, just based on all the reporting.
Right. Hold on, someone's at my front door here. I will let you go. Wait. I'll be right back because I got an order coming at the house. So take over, Dallas. Be right back.
All right. Sounds like Dan's Instacart is here, and he's going to have all the hamburgers stocked up for the World Series, so he can grill out every single night, and then he'll be good to go. So that's good. He can go answer the door and get those babies in the freezer before they thaw out prematurely. So good for Dan there. Yeah, so the Tony Vitello, I mean, I was surprised at the negativity I heard on KNBR today. People on that station are not liking this choice, if this is the choice. I was surprised by that. Normally there's a lot of pro Giants talk on that station, and but there was some quite negativity about the Tony Vitello hiring, if that's the way that is looking like it's going to go. My thought on it is, I mean, the jury's out. I don't know the guy. I can see that he's done a great job in Tennessee, and the record speaks for itself. He's got a over 700 winning percentage. He's turned that program around, and whether that translates to Major League Baseball, I don't know. I haven't played big league baseball. I don't know what the sentiment would be, having somebody without big league experience coming into that clubhouse and taking over. I assume he knows the game of baseball. It's just going to be, can he translate from working with kids, 18 to 22, 23-year-olds, to working with adults, 23, 26, 30, 40-year-olds. It's going to be a question if Posey estimates that he can make that jump, and then that's going to be the case. But you look at the guy's career, he spent years and years in the college ranks, working his way up. And then since 2017, he's been with the Volunteers. That's 8 years with that program, and done extremely well. And if his goal was to go to the major leagues at some point, he's got to make the leap at some point. Now, he's not going to go from making $3 million a year as the head coach at a college to a bench coach on the Kansas City Royals, and spend 3 years there making $200K or whatever it's going to be. That's just not a jump that's going to happen. So he's got to find the opportunity to make his leap into the big leagues, and it's going to have to be a fit that works for him, but also a team that wants to take a chance on him. And Buster Posey does not, to me, seem like somebody that makes decisions lightly. This is a massive decision, and it's one that he's not going to just gamble on. I don't think he's not a gambler. Buster Posey is not. He is calculated. He takes his time. He thinks things through. I don't think there is it's a decision that he takes lightly. So for him to be making this call, I think that he's got to be pretty sure of this. So that gives me confidence. Now, would I have confidence in general? Just hiring somebody out of the blue with never played in the majors, never managed in the majors, never had any sort of big league experience, just off the cuff, that doesn't sound like a promising sentiment to me, a promising situation. But because it's Buster Posey, and because I don't know that he would do this if he wasn't reasonably sure this is a good move. And also, you just had a guy that had 22 years of experience that was well known as a great manager, and he couldn't get the job done. And so maybe you want to go in a different direction and get somebody young and get somebody that plays that is fiery, and maybe somebody that is going to put his foot down with some of these players when you're trying to emphasize the fundamentals and emphasize areas where obviously things went a little bit awry with the Giants this year on the fundamentals, on base running, on defensive play, on taking the extra base, just basic rules like the infield fly rule and, silly mistakes that were made. And maybe they want somebody that's going to emphasize the fundamentals like you're teaching college kids how to play, as opposed to,
Speaking of that,
you're
Dallas,
professionals, you show up, you make a paycheck and you play baseball, and I'm not going to really tell you what to do, So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to be it's an interesting choice. Everybody in Tennessee that I've heard, they are devastated that he's leaving and that this is going to happen. And so I was, that's a good sign. Just that everybody who knows anything about it, that's watched him, that is a fan of that college and that team, thinks it's a great choice. Everybody they're a fan of the Giants or either on the fence or adamantly anti. So it really remains to be seen. But it's definitely an interesting choice. And it's not like a lot of the choices that were on the table, Mark DeRosa and Nick Hundley, and a lot of people didn't have major league experience, managing. Hundley was in the front office with Texas. Hold on a second here. Mark DeRosa managed the national team, but World Baseball Classic, but not big league experience managing. So there was other options, that didn't have major league experience that they were looking at, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It really is going to come down to how it shakes out. I have no idea how it's going to shake out. I can't predict the future, and so I'm going to just have to reserve my judgment, other than the fact that I think interesting choice, not the way I would have expected it to go.
Yeah, I would say a couple things to that. First, let me get a couple of these comments. NorCal Sports Life says, I just want to feel alive again as a Giants fan. Vitello does that one way or the other. This malaise that has not gone away since the 2016 collapse needs to end. I would second that. I think that's a huge point. And I agree. He will definitely help. It will not be boring at 3rd and King. And I said this earlier. I don't know if I said it on, I think it was on Twitter. Yeah, Buster's one of the only guys. And Aaron Loss originally came up with this thought, and I wholeheartedly agreed with him. Said, hey, Buster's one of the only guys that can take this risk. A regular GM is not taking, or president of baseball operations that is not an owner of the team is not taking this risk, right? I mean, Buster can afford to take it because he's an owner. He's got, look, it backfires. He's still got a job or got ownership or they got to buy him out. Right. So I think this is a bold move. Now we're also hearing that nobody's been offered the job but Vitello, that he's actually been offered the job. The ball is in his court, according to Andrew Baggerly, who was on this morning with Brian Murphy, and on KMBR. And so the job, and the bad thing about this getting out, this is something that is not favorable for the Giants, this news getting out. I'm sure Buster is not happy that this news has got out, because he is losing leverage in the bargaining. It's going to cost. You can almost guarantee that if he was getting close to $5 million offer by Buster and the Giants, because that's what it's going to take, close to $5 million, it may take more now if they really want him, because he goes back to Tennessee. Tennessee says, we don't want to lose you. I mean, he's like a mini god there, right? In Knoxville. I mean, this guy's beloved in this campus, this wild town of, it's a college town. If you've ever been to Knoxville, it is incredible. You thought it was it's a great sports town. It's in the heart of the SEC, Well, actually, not the heart. It's actually more north than most of the rest of the SEC. But you get my point. It's huge SEC country, and they love their baseball and they love their football. It's the best athletic conference by far of any conference of the three major sports. And it is so competitive there. And so, do those boosters pump up more money? They could, I mean, I'm sure there's enough boosters that say, you know what? I'm sure there's 10 more boosters that say, you know what? I'll add 200,000 a year more. And there's your 2 million, right? You got 10 guys putting up 2 million apiece. That's goes from 3 to 5. Now, if Buster really wants him, he says, well, I can go as high as 7. That's it. If you take it or leave it. That's on the table for the next hour or two. If you want to take it, and then it's then if he's fishy and wishy-washy and he's going back to Tennessee to get more, then you just say, no, I don't want you. You don't want a guy like that.
Yeah, and you don't think yet it's going to have to be, does he want to move to Major League Baseball? Does he want to make that leap, or does he want to spend the rest of his career in the college ranks?
I think he wants to make the move because he's on MLB Network during the draft and he's giving an analysis of every player for Major League Baseball. That tells me he wants to make the next step. And it's like you said earlier, he's not going to the Royals to be a coach when he's got a $3 million. What's he going to do? Go to the Royals and say, okay, I'll start at 400,000, 500,000 a year.
Right. He doesn't want to do that. So if he wants to make the leap, then he's going to have to do so. But as a first-year manager, you're going to have to. You can expect to make a little bit more than you're currently making in your job, but you're not going to get $8 million Dave Roberts money first year. That's just not going to happen. You're not going to get Craig Counsell $8 million money.
I think he's going to get 5. I think he's going to get 5 if he comes to the. I don't see why he would come and jump for 3 or 4. He might because if he wants that managerial job, but if he's coming for 3 or 4, then I think the deal's a minimum 4-year deal, whatever he signs. It's got to take him through the 29 season. That's what he's got now. He can always go back to college baseball if it flops, right?
Yeah.
I don't think if he flops, it's a one and done for his major league career. I believe if it's a flop, I don't see him like just being a bust and then some other team saying, "Hey, yeah, we'll sign you up too." I think the Giants need a change. Here's my concern, Dallas and chat. When he tells a major leaguer that may have some moxie that's been around for 7-8 years, and he's telling major leaguers how to do things, and he's never spent a day in Major League Baseball in the minors as a player, coach, scout, anything. You might have some pushback from some players. But here's where I think I want to point something out to you. See if you guys agree with this. I think that if Vitello takes the job, that they see what the Giants get out of what the Giants do in the 26th season. What kind of mileage do the Giants get out of their veterans? And if it's not successful, in other words, they're not successful on the field, not due to Vitello, but because Chapman hits 225, Adames hits 225, and these guys are kind of, you see them descending, right? I think in 27, with a new CBA coming and all of that, I think Buster looks to blow it up and go young and go with the young kids and you start saying, okay, we're going to reshape this franchise with high school draft picks that Tony Vitello would know because he sat at kitchen tables for years convincing mom and dad and the recruit that I can help your son become a big league ball player someday, or whatever the talk is. And because he can see and spot the talent that he wants, and keep in mind, he misses out on a lot of that talent that ends up either going to another school or ends up never coming to Tennessee because they got drafted and they went to the majors instead of going the college route. So I could see him helping there. I see him helping tremendously with college picks because he's going to know who those kids are. And so this is my thinking that the 26th season, Buster tries to go out and get the horses for him and signs some veteran pitchers to maybe guys that get no more than 2-year deals. Maybe he has to hand out a 3 or 4-year deal to someone like a Suarez, but he's going to say we've got a window because Chapman's going to be 33. Adames is getting older. There's not a lot there that maybe they go for it if it works out because the veterans are re-energized because of this new, how's this word for a play on words? Vitality, Vitalito, something like that. The vitality that he puts forth, and that these guys have this, fountain of youth come back to them and they play well, but the long range plan is still to go young and draft and develop, because I think that's where the game is going to have to go. Buster won 3 world championships because 3 World Series because he came up with a bunch of guys that were in the system and it was put together with a few other guys. But I think that's where this situation goes with Vitello. What do you think?
Yeah, long term, I think that's a good plan. You go younger, you go cheaper. You want to be able to rejuvenize the franchise. And one way that you can compete with the Dodgers, that they're just spending all the money on all the veterans and the guys that are proven. You got to go young and athletic, and teams have done this, and had success with it. So that is a possibility. But it will be interesting to see.
Be right back.
Sure, it'll be interesting to see if what his approach is with the veterans, with Adames and with Chapman and with Devers, and these older players that are established. And does he work with them as the older guys? He treats a certain way. He kind of works as a collaborator with them to try and work on their game and try and get to the next level and try and optimize their performance. And then with the young guys like the Bryce Eldridges and the Tidwell, with all the young guys on the team, the guys that are under 25 or whatever, does he treat that more as like a college atmosphere and try and get them to the next level by kind of using that college mentality? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that works. Will he have the autonomy to be able to sit Chapman on the bench if he's not coming through? I mean, Chapman is kind of a bad example. I think he's kind of set in his ways. He plays a certain way, and he's just going to be that guy. So if and he plays 100% all the time. So I think I don't see an issue there with him. I don't know. Adames is kind of a team guy. He's buying into how things are. I think he is works within the system. So I don't know that he'll butt heads with him. Devers is going to do what he's going to do. I don't think anybody's going to tell Devers how to play or what to do differently. Maybe an issue there. I mean, he's ran into some friction with past management in the Red Sox organization, so that remains to be seen. But I don't know. This is uncharted territory. I mean, this hasn't been done before, so it really is going to be a big experiment, I think. And Posey might have an idea of how things are going to go, and it might end up being the case that he's right, and this is going to be a great. It's going to turn out great, or it could go a different way than he's expecting, and then we're going to have some issues. So, Senior Softball Game says, I would be fired up if he came in and tore it down, pull the Jimmy Johnson going to Dallas, trade all the aging vets. Yes, Kane, Ray, and Devers, and just Kane, Webb, Ray, Devers, and just accumulate a ton of young talent. Well, that is an option, They could do that, but that would be completely admitting what they've done so far is just a mistake, He went out and made these trades. So I don't think that's going to be the route. But going forward, they're going to want to supplement their base, these guys, with younger players, improving the farm system. Over time, you need a strong farm system. So they're going to want to work on that, and hopefully Vitello will have some input on that, and have an idea of that maybe there is some correlation between analyzing talent at the college level and analyzing players through the draft. Some of those players are college players, so he might be able to have some insight as far as developing younger players within the system. So I'm not hearing you, Dan.
I for one, am in favor of what Senior's talking about here. If I give it one more year, and if they're not a team that looks like they're in solid contention for, and I'm not talking, I'm talking like they're at the trade deadline coming up next year. They are in a position that looks like in a sweet spot. I'd tear it all down. I would just say, you know what? I don't care, Matt Chapman, if you got yourself a no trade. I don't want you here. Do you want to be here? We don't want you. We don't want you here. Do you understand? And if you want to stay here, your ass is gonna ride the pine, because you want to play ball. It's not going to be here.
Well, I hope that he has assertiveness with these players. He could say, you know what, Matt Chapman, hitting 230 isn't going to cut it here. You need to be at least 250. You need to try to get to 260. And that means adjusting your swing. You're not playing for you. You're not playing for your own home run numbers. You're playing for this team. And that means you shorten up with 2 strikes and you get on base and you get a hit and you come through with runners in scoring position, and you don't try and swing for the fence every time. And even though he's been doing that his whole career, and even that has led to him being successful financially for his family, that has worked for him. But that's not the best way for the team. Having a guy that for some reason has to hit in the middle of the lineup, hitting 230, and hitting poorly with runners in scoring position, that's not helpful. That's not helping the team. So maybe he'll have a chance to say, hey, we got to do this my way, or you're going to see reduced playing time. And you're here. The no trade clause works both ways. You're here for the next 6 years. And so you need to buy into this. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do that or not. I think he has a personality. He has a way of talking to people, to getting the most out of his players. But those were college players. Will that work with a veteran? Who knows? think you're muted, Dan, or my earphones
Shoot,
out.
I keep hitting. Now, Alex, what I was saying was, I wasn't talking about the role of the manager. I said if the team is not in contention at the All-Star break, I am looking to trade everybody and go young and rebuild. And I am telling Chapman, not as the manager, but Buster. Clearly, I know that's not the manager's role. That is obviously very clearly Buster's role. I am saying Buster has to have a plan, and if it's not working, move those veterans and use your resources. Look, I can tell you, I don't know if I posted this or not. I'll have to look at my page here. I think I posted it, but maybe not. Nope. I'll have to dig into my archives and show you guys something. In fact, let me. Nope, that wasn't the one. I'm going to have to pull the. Believe me, I get way too many texts here. Let's see. What I'm getting at is the revenue. How much teams are putting how much of percentage of revenue are teams putting into payroll? And the Giants have plenty of revenue to clean house. Look, don't tell me that teams can't eat contracts. Look what the Denver Broncos did with Wilson. What's his first name? Why am I drawing a blank? The quarterback, Russell Wilson. They just ate millions of dollars, and they moved off of Russell Wilson in a salary cap confinement era of the NFL. And look what the Broncos are. As soon as they got rid of him, they made the playoffs last year with Bo Nix, right? And they are a team right now that is contending. They might be the team that knocks off the Chiefs in the AFC West. So you can use these teams have so much money, and I just got to find my text in a world of 100 texts.
Contracts in the NFL are different, though. I don't know how much of that was guaranteed.
Well, still they still lost a lot of millions of dollars that they had to eat.
Sure.
So
George Corey says, Dan, no team would alienate a player like Chapman, who is a consummate professional, is going to be threatened to be sat. No player in MLB would want to come here. Strong arming players is foolish. It's going to be a balancing act, because if he wants to set a tone with the team, and it's going to be a exercise in diplomacy. He's going to have to massage this and get the veterans on board with his plan. And so if he can do that, then he's got a chance to make it work. But there's no guarantees in this, I don't think. I think this is an experiment we're gonna have to see how this actually shakes out.
Correct. Let me just finish this post here.
It's a gamble, George. I think it's a gamble.
Yes, it is. One second here. I don't want to keep doing this. Okay, here.
But Buster Posey doesn't strike me as a gambler. Like,
he's
I don't
gambling.
know that he goes and pushes a bunch of chips on the table if he isn't reasonably sure that this is going to work. Like, I don't know that he doubles down on a soft 17 or whatever. He waits till he has an 11, to where he's got a pretty good hand. I don't know that he's going to take too much of a risk here. So that gives me some amount of confidence. A lot of people are really down on this decision, disagree with it, think it's a terrible
I've heard
idea.
a lot of people,
But just because Posey, I don't think he just makes decisions willy nilly. I think he's thought this through. If he's going to do this, I don't think this is this is just coming out of the blue, and he's like, yeah, okay, sure, let's give it a shot. That's that would be out of character if that was the case for Posey. So
yeah. I want to bring up something on this because we're getting into this Chapman thing. I said it a little bit more heavy-handed than first you would try the diplomatic approach, of course. And the diplomatic approach would be, hey, Matt, we're looking to rebuild, and we've got to rebuild this thing because it's not working with the veterans we have right now. And if you want to stay around and hang around, that's fine. But we're going to start playing a lot of the younger guys. We're going to move Casey over to third a lot. We need to get younger in this lineup. And, if you want to play on a daily basis, we'd love to accommodate you and, give us a list of teams that you would like to play for. And, we respect him and we'll make it happen for one of those teams that you want to play for. You can do it that way.
The only way that's going to happen is if somebody is playing better than he is.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Other people are going to have to step up to be the point to have the levers to even attempt that. But
my point in all this is, again, it's a caveat based on where they are next year at the trade deadline. It's all prefaced with that. If the team is doing well, you ride with it. But I am saying that if the team sucks and it looks like they're going to struggle to make a wild card, you can't keep doing this. You can't keep playing 500 baseball year after year after year after year. That is the point.
Definitely. Yes.
That is the point. So if Chapman, guys, remember I said, if Buster's going to give the manager, if it's Vitello or whoever else, I believe he's going to give them the tools to make a run at it next year to really be successful. But if somehow it fails, I think a guy like Vitello would be the perfect guy to help rebuild with youth and change the energy here. Look, somehow he came into the interview and came in with something that said, here's how you beat the Dodgers. That's what I've heard. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But let me get rid of this comment. Well, first, George says, why do we have to rebuild? Well, George, do you want to keep paying mid-level vets to finish 500 year after year? Pick a dang lane. Either spend the money, George, and go after guys that are stars like Kyle Tucker. Stop overpaying for mid-level players. Go out and get the best players. Go sign Framber Valdez. Go sign Ranger Suarez. Go sign Adrian Hauser. Go sign Suarez as your closer. Go sign Kyle Schwarber. You want to go spend $350 freaking million. I don't care. But if you're not going to do that, and you're going to go with mid-level players and they're going to play 500, then yes, George, you got to rebuild because you got to pick a lane one way or the other. Get on the fast lane track to spending money. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's what I'm looking at, guys. Let me take this comment down here. Sign a closer, Mark says yes. All right, I'm going to pull this up. Look at these numbers here, guys. Look how much the Mets, $444 million. They put $400 million into payroll. It didn't work, obviously, this year. But the Dodgers, 73% of their payroll, of their revenue is going into payroll. Toronto, hey, look, 2 and 3 are in the World Series, and 4th was the Phillies, and then the Padres. Okay, other teams kind of sucks as far as. But the Giants, I looked at their revenue for 24. They were $448 million. That is seventh in payroll or revenue. I'm sorry, revenue. They were not a top 5 revenue earner. They were 7th behind Boston and Atlanta, couple other teams were higher in payroll: the Cubs, the Dodgers, the Mets, and the Yankees. The Yankees were 2, the Dodgers were 1. So what I'm saying here is the Giants only put in 47.5%. Okay, do you guys see what I'm talking about? $448 million. Now, I'll bet you that revenue goes up closer to $500 million for the 25 season, because why do I say that? Because they had a lot more attendance and the crowds were bigger. So the revenue had to go up, right? So what I'm saying here is the Giants are taking in a profit of over $200+ million a year. All right. They can afford to blow this thing up if it doesn't work out next year. If next year.
Where do these numbers come from, though, Dan? Isn't this information not public?
What do you mean not public?
Like their Giants revenue numbers, they don't have to make that public. And I don't think they do. Is this just an estimate?
Calculated by Forbes.
Okay.
Revenues are calculated by Forbes, payroll data via Spot Track. So
the payroll, we know that's pretty public.
Yeah.
But the revenue, I don't know. That might be an estimate on their part. I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm sure it's pretty close.
All right. So point being, the Giants have enough revenue based on what they're putting out in salary to take it in the shorts for a year and eat some of the contracts they may have to eat if they need to rebuild this thing. Let's hope they don't have to. Let's hope that these players actually come through next year and they're successful in the field. And
wouldn't that be funny if in that interview he was like, I've got the answer to how to beat the Dodgers. Oh yeah, Tony, what's that? Checkbook. Got to write some checks.
Got to write some checks. Yeah. First check starts with me. Yeah. Now we're, I see Matthew's comment in here. He says, I can't believe I got to root for, where did that one go? I saw it in here a little bit ago. He says, God, I'm actually going to have to root for Canada in the World Series. I know. Can you believe it?
I'll have to load the Canadian national anthem on the soundboard.
90% of America is going to be rooting for Canada. The other 10% are all Dodger fans. I mean, it's crazy. It's
That's
crazy.
Probably about right.
It's going to be, everybody's pulling for. I was really rooting for Seattle just because they'd never been to the World Series. And, they had a young players, some guys like Julio Rodriguez and their pitching staff, and they had some other guys. They had some vets too. But, man, how painful is that going to be for Seattle in the offseason to get that close? And Bub Rad says he's a diehard Blue Jays fan starting 1 hour ago. NorCal Sports Live says the sad truth is, as the old saying goes, never trust a Canadian to do the job. That's probably true, right? Yeah. But there are some good Canadian players, right? Isn't Freddie Freeman a Canadian? I think he is.
49ers red zone. I'd rather see a California team win over a Canadian team, even if it's the Dodgers. That's not a Giants fan. Sorry.
Oh, look at his logo. He's torn between the 49ers and the. Yeah, I don't know. I get it, man. Canada's
you don't root for the Dodgers.
I can't root for the Dodgers, but I don't know.
I mean, Canada's basically the 51st state, right? According to Trump, so it's not that big of a deal.
Right. Hey, look, they come to America for the medicine, right? They don't have any good medicine up there in Canada. They got to wait like forever, I think, to see the doctor. Hey, I saw a thing that Bob Nightingale put out. It says, this time Shohei really is on a plane to Toronto.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll be rooting for the Blue Jays. Yeah. But I think the Dodgers win it in 6 or less. 6 or less is my prediction.
That's not going out on a limb too far.
Yeah. I could say they might win it in 4.
You could say 4. You probably say 5 is a pretty good bet. You think they'll win 1.
Yeah. Yeah,
If they
there
win
are a
2,
lot of Dodger fans that are
hey.
Niner fans. That is true, babe. Babe Rock. There is a lot of Niner fans that are Dodger fans because LA
didn't have a
abandoned.
team for so
They
long.
were abandoned, yeah. And everybody loved the Niners, you know? I mean, yeah. What else do we got in the chat here? I think Seattle and Toronto did come into the league at the same time. Hey, Siri, what year did the Seattle Mariners and Toronto Blue Jays join Major League Baseball?
The Mariners lost the ALCS.
I didn't ask that.
4-3 against the Blue Jays. They lost the last game 4-3 today.
Yeah, thank you. I knew that. I said, hey, Siri, what year did the Toronto Blue Jays and Seattle Mariners join Major League Baseball? You're going to do the same thing. You're stupid. Hey, Siri, what year did the Blue Jays join baseball? 1977. Hey, Siri, what year did the Seattle Mariners join Major League Baseball? Yep, you're right. 1977. There it is. Both of them, same time. You know what was interesting? I thought if Seattle had won that game tonight, the Dodgers in Seattle played the last 3 games of the season up in Seattle. The Dodgers swept. But it really, if they would have ended up in the World Series, it would have been that series. They were both 90 and 69 going into that final. They had identical records. So whoever won the series would be the host of have the home field advantage in the World Series. But Seattle didn't come through to make that claim. So now Toronto gets games 1 and 2. This is a big deal, Toronto winning, because, they stay home now, and they had to win 4 of the last 5 games, right, to get into the World Series. They had to go 4-1, and they did it.
Right.
So
maybe they're on a hot streak.
Yeah, might get cooled off a little bit with the weight. I wish baseball would set it up a little bit better. I know they have to have everything because of travel and all that pre-planned and all those arrangements, but it's kind of, you hate to see a week off of baseball. Mariners will fall off. They will never have an offense like that again for a while. The ballpark is gross. I agree. Suarez and Naylor are both free agents, so they could lose both those guys. I don't even know. I'm not sure about Polanco. He might be a free agent. The Mariners' problem for years has been lack of hitting. They finally got enough hitting to get them this far, and their pitching let them down. It's their pitching that let them down. Do visiting players have to pay Canadian tax when playing in Canada? I don't know. It's a good question. We can ask that of Google. Do visiting players
JR 500. Hey, Dallas, do you follow the Golden State Warriors or the Sacramento Kings? I'm a Kings fan, but I don't waste my time on the Kings if they're not going to be good. I can't watch 82 games and get into it if they're going to be a crappy team. And so I don't, when they're in contention to make the playoffs, I'll follow them. But if they're going to be terrible, then I don't waste my time. It's just too much time to invest in a mediocre team. So, unfortunately, not following them that closely this year.
Well, I just Googled it. It says, at least, I don't know if AI is right. AI Google is not always right. You got to take it with a grain of salt. But it says, yes, visiting players are required to pay Canadian taxes on the income they earn while playing in Canada. Canadian tax laws require non-residents to pay taxes on Canadian source income with specific rules for professional athletes on their residency, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I don't know. Let's see, what else do we got here in the chat? Oh, let's see. We got a football game going on right now. What's going on with that? Seattle, which is important for the 49ers. It's 17-12 with 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Seattle over Houston. So, hey, look, my light's on. Turn that off. Yeah. So, yeah, there you have it. There you have it with that. So we'll, BC says Ohtani hit 538 for Blue Jays pitching. This is an easy bet for World Series MVP. Well, maybe so.
Yeah, there's no one else you'd take over him, I don't think.
Canada exports a lot of comedians and actors too, for some reason. Yeah, they do. A lot of comedians from Canada. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been through customs at Canada. It wasn't too bad. I've been to customs all over the world, so it's America is probably one of the toughest coming back into America. Let's see what else we got in here. Yep, and Raleigh is not hitting 61 again. Do you think he hits 50 again in his career? It's going to be tough if he stays as a catcher. The older he gets, he may have to, if he becomes a DH more or first baseman, he might do it, but we'll see. I mean, that guy had a remarkable year. Do you think he gets the MVP, or do you think Judge gets it in the American League?
I think Cal gets it.
I think Cal gets it too. It was a magical year, and he was a catcher. Pretty amazing year to do what he did. Switch hitter, almost broke the American League record, Judge's record. What did he end up with? 60, right? Just missed Maris's 61. Or did he get 60? Or did he end up with what did Cal end up with?
He got, we should know this.
I got it right here.
It's not showing me.
He got 60. Right on the nose.
Yeah.
247 batting average. Look at that. He hit 247, 60 homers, 125 RBIs as a switch hitting catcher. And Chapman couldn't even hit 240 and drive in. He can't even drive in 80 runs in his career. That should tell you the type of hitter that Chapman is versus some of the other hitters out there. To a guy who's a catcher that's catching 119 games during the season. That's tough. Wow. Well, I think it's going to be a good series in the terms of, I think the games, I don't think we'll have too many blowouts. We could have one or two if it goes 6 or 7. But I think
I just hope
the
games are close,
Yeah, just hope they're entertaining, close games. Yeah. I've got a video out there, guys, right now that was put out tonight. Check out that video when we finish this. Go make your comments on the video. The video is about 13 minutes long, I believe. Yeah, it's 13 minutes long. So quick, easy video. The title of it is, I'll tell you in a sec here. Hold on. Are the Dodgers the best playoff team ever? Okay. Is it the best team, the Dodgers? This 2000, I'm not talking about regular season. I'm just talking about, so go check out the video, make your comments, and especially you Dodger fans out there, let me know what you think. I said at the very end, I said, I think this Dodger team would have to maybe be considered the best team ever if they win the World Series. If they don't, nope, you can't say it, because just like the New England Patriots went 18-0, lost the Super Bowl, Golden State Warriors won 73 games, lost the NBA Finals. So you can't count those teams as the best ever had they won it. So the Dodgers have a chance to be considered, especially if they go in and either sweep the Dodgers or win it in 5. I mean, the Blue Jays, you would have to look at them and say, wow, that might be one of the best assembled teams ever. Because you look at the pitching staff and you can say, Beto says the Yankees did it better. Well, I addressed that in the video. So check it out. People talk about whether it's the Yankees did it better, 49-53. They won 5 straight World Series. Yeah, they only had to win their league of 8 teams, and they went directly to the World Series. No playoffs, just straight pass to. That's like if you had the best record in the National League, you got to the World Series. Boom. You think the Dodgers would coast in the regular season? No, they would win 100+ games easily. So, yeah, those 49 teams, the 27 Yankees to when they had Gehrig and Ruth. Then you've got the 98 Yankees who won 114 games, lost only 48. They won the World Series. That was a heck of a team. But you look at the team, there's really only 2 Hall of Famers on that Yankees team, and that was Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera. This Dodgers team has 4 bona fide, I would say, guaranteed Hall of Famers. Maybe not guaranteed, but I would say a 98% chance or better that 4 of them make it. We know Kershaw's a shoo-in. Betts should make it. Freeman should make it. And Ohtani should make it. That's 4 Hall of Famers. And then you're going to have Will Smith, that if he has another 7 or 8 really good productive seasons, he could be in line for, as a catcher, a guy that can be considered Hall of Fame worthy, but time will tell. And then you got to look at Yamamoto. He's way too early, but does he have a very good 8 to 10 year run in the big leagues where he's a dominant pitcher? Maybe he can make it. And if Blake Snell can put another 4+ solid years, 5 years, maybe he can make it. He's not worthy. Snell's not ready to make. You can't call him a Hall of Famer now, nor can you call Yamamoto for sure, and you can't call Will Smith. Time will tell. But they already have 4 guys that are Hall of Famers. So we'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll see where things go. I'm seeing stuff about the Giants 2010 team was mostly homegrown players. Dodgers just outbid everyone. Good for them. Dodgers starting pitching is elite. Their top of the lineup is elite. Not the best teams ever.
No. And they won 93 games this year, which is
without breaking a sweat.
And they went 11-2 versus the Rockies. If the Rockies were a halfway decent team, they went full. What they do versus the Giants? They went 9-4 versus the Giants. If the Giants and the Rockies were halfway decent teams, then they would have won 85 games. You know, it's would have been a whole different picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They are very good right now. They've peaked at the right time, the Dodgers.
What is this? Bub Rad says, I have
crunched some numbers on Ohtani affecting the regular season wins. He makes all teams way worse by 10 or more less wins per year. Dodgers will be 90 wins or less in 2026. I'm not sure about that. What did the Dodgers win last year? Didn't they win over 100 games last year? Yeah.
Yeah.
The 24
They
season?
won 98 last year.
98. Okay. So they won 98 last year, 93 this year. I don't see the Dodgers for the next 3 years losing less than 90 games in a season. Minimum. Next 3 years.
They'll win 90. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll win 90. I mean, yeah. I can't see them falling that way. Yeah, they did. But you have to look at it this way. They won 105 games because they were playing. They learned that the regular season is not October, that they ran out of gas. And what they've done is they've changed their entire structure and focus in the regular season to go into the playoffs with all of their top guns fully rested, and they are not playing for regular season wins. If they wanted to, if the Dodgers really, really wanted to play their heart out in the majority of the 162 on the schedule, they could win 110. They could. But they also know that is not the recipe for dominating the postseason. The recipe is have your starting pitchers throw about 100 innings in the season, and they have so much left in the tank for the playoffs and they can do that because they've got the money, they got all of the ability to do all that. So that's kind of what they did this year. And I think it's a model that I think will try to be duplicated. Just like you saw the Warriors with the 3-point shot, what has happened in the NBA, everybody now has guys that can shoot threes, and the game's changed, and the Warriors are no longer one of the only teams that was, they were it for the first couple of years. No one could really outscore them. And then teams said, hey, this 3 is better than 2. And if I make, close to 35 to 38% of my 3s, that's a lot better than 50% of 2s if I take enough 3s, If I take 40 3s a game and I make 18, well, 18 times 3 is 54. That's like going 27 for 54 on 2-point shots when you can just make 18 of 40, right? And so that's kind of where the trend went. And I think the trend is going to try. I think you're going to see copycatters. Not everybody's going to be able to do it because they don't have enough money and there's not enough good pitchers to do it. But if 3 or 4 teams can get 7 or 8 starters that are really solid, and those other starters that aren't in the rotation just become long men or even some short men, and like you're seeing in Sasaki, make use of these guys, why wouldn't you do that and keep your guys fresh so that you don't have a Logan Webb and a Robbie Ray going 200 and Robbie Ray going, 180 plus? And we saw what Robbie Ray happened to him at the end of the year. He was totally on empty. And imagine if the Giants had made the playoffs and Robbie Ray had to pitch. I don't think he would have been that effective.
Probably not. I mean, adrenaline is one thing, but yeah, I mean, they've known that he was going to take him a little while to ramp back up. He didn't pitch for 2.5 seasons. He pitched in 2022. He didn't.
Right.
He pitched one game in 23, 7 in 24. So, and then 32 in 2025. And then that was enough, that was maxing him out on that. Oh, and then also looking at his career, the most he ever pitched he had 1 year of 33 games.
Who, Robbie?
Yeah. So 32 was almost his career max in games for his whole career.
Yeah, Blake Snell was given a lot of credit to Logan Webb, learning how to pitch, saying, get in the zone. Get in the zone because you got great stuff. And that's how you go 7 innings. Because Blake Snell, if you remember, even in the first half with the Giants last year, walking all these guys, couldn't get past the 5th inning. Remember the first half of the year when he was pitching? Couldn't get past 5 because the pitch count was too high, because he was trying to be too cute with his pitches, trying to get guys to chase bad pitches. And
that was basically his whole career. He never went deep in games, and they never asked him to.
Right. And Logan Webb talked to him about, hey, get in the zone. Your stuff is terrific. Guys can't hit you, can't make solid contact on you enough. So as he gets in the zone, he's striking out more guys and he's not walking as many guys, and guys are flying out or grounding out. And hence, that's why he was able to pitch a no-hitter in Cincinnati, because he wasn't in the 6th inning, entering the 6th inning with 83 pitches.
Yeah, well, that was
or 90 pitches.
And he was on pace to be out of that game early, and then he buttoned it up and said, uh-oh, if I'm going to do this, I need to be economical. And then he had like an 8-pitch inning, and he actually dialed it back and reduced his pitch count for a couple of innings, so he was able to go the distance. That was a great game. I mean, like Snell or not, that was a great performance for a Giants pitcher.
Yep. All right, Dallas, you ready to get on out of here?
Let's hit it.
All right, guys. Tomorrow night. What is going on tomorrow night? Warriors basketball, opening night, NBA, guys. If you're a Warriors fan or LA Laker fan, catch us right here about, I would say, 9:15 to 9:30 tomorrow. And the dog wants out, and he's going to get out soon because we're almost there. That's not Max. That's, who is that again? I forgot his name.
Zeus.
Hey, Zeus. Put the earplugs in, Zeus. He's looking at you. He said, Dad, let me out.
He heard me say his name, so.
Zeus, say it again. See, he'll turn.
Hey, Zeus.
Hey, Zeus. He's not Jesus. He's Zeus.
Hey, Zeus.
He's not Jesus. Hey, everybody, it's Jesus Alou. All right. Zeus. All right. Hiroku says the Blue Jays will win the World Series. We'll get out of here with that. Jesus Rodriguez. Why'd you swing at that pitch, Jesus? Hey, Zeus, what were you doing chasing that ball? Tell me. Come on, Jesus. Gotta let Cal hit, Jesus. Come on. Man, Buster, you want to see Jesus up there? He's on the screen. Zeus. All right. The Zeus is on the loose. There he is. I can't do that with Buster anymore. Too big. Let's see if we can get ready to say goodbye. Yeah, take the pitch. Take the pitch. I hope every Canadian bets all they have on them winning. It'll be the greatest country-to-country wealth transfer since the Marshall Plan. There we go. Coming from BC, a Dodger fan. All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll see ya.